What if I told you the most powerful nation on Earth might be slowly disarming itself without even realizing it? What if the slogan designed to protect America is now the very thing pulling the superpower toward a silent freefall? And what if, right now, at this very moment, rising powers across the world are filling the gap left behind by the United States with missiles, drones, hypersonic glide vehicles, and new military alliances that Washington never saw coming? Because behind the scenes, something shocking is happening. While America says America first, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, even smaller states like Turkey and the UAE are saying something very different. This is our moment. Hypersonic weapons are being tested at record speed. New stealth drones are entering the battlefield. Nuclear submarines are deployed into contested waters. And global powers, rivals and allies alike, are now questioning whether the United States is retreating from its own role as the world's security leader. And the question that terrifies military analysts is this: has America first quietly opened the gates for a new global military race, one the U.S. is no longer prepared to win? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something explosive, something uncomfortable, and something the world's top military planners whisper behind closed doors. Is America's superpower status slipping because of its own foreign policy? We're breaking this down in 6 powerful sections, each one loaded with real-world military shifts, strategic chaos, and the weapons transforming global power. So buckle up, because once you hear what's happening, you'll never look at the phrase America first the same way again. Let's begin. America first was supposed to strengthen the nation, rebuild its factories, stop foreign wars, and recalibrate what the U.S. spends its money on. But here's the twist: the world didn't freeze while America stepped back. Instead, the world accelerated all at once. China expanded its navy at the fastest rate in human history, adding destroyers, aircraft carriers, and missile cruisers at a pace the U.S. Navy couldn't match ship for ship. Their DF-17 hypersonic missile, a weapon capable of penetrating U.S. missile defenses, entered active deployment. Russia modernized its nuclear triad, unveiling systems like the Sarmat ICBM and the nearly unstoppable Kinjal missile. Iran built drone swarms so advanced and so cheap that even Western generals admitted. These things are changing the nature of warfare. In North Korea, it developed submarine, launched ballistic missiles, and tested missiles that flew over Japan. While all this was happening, America was wrestling internally, budget freezes, political battles, and debates about whether foreign commitments were worth the cost. The world looked at the United States and smelled hesitation. And in geopolitics, hesitation is weakness. Allies began exploring their own options. Japan increasing defense spending, Germany announcing the largest rearmament since World War II, and Middle Eastern states signing new arms deals with China and Russia. The battlefield of the future was forming. And America, by stepping back, may have allowed its rivals to step forward in ways no one predicted. But this is just the beginning, because the real shock hits in Section 2. America's military is still the strongest in the world, but strength doesn't stay static. It's a race, a constant sprint. And in the last decade, for the first time in generations, the U.S. has been forced to run uphill while its competitors sprint downhill. Let's break down what that really means. The U.S. Air Force once dominated every sky on Earth. No rival came close. The F-22 Raptor and F-30 level of air superiority unmatched by any country. But here comes the twist. While America protected its budget, argued in Congress, and hesitated to get involved overseas, China tested the J-20, upgraded its stealth capabilities, and is now developing the J-31, a fighter designed specifically to rival the F-35 in export markets. Meanwhile, Russia rolled out the Su-57, a jet that, despite production issues, still represents Russia's renewed ambition to challenge U.S. air dominance. America first reduced international cooperation, meaning fewer joint exercises, fewer forward bases, fewer shared technologies. And in the military world, isolation is dangerous. The U.S. Army delayed programs like the Future Vertical Lift helicopters and the optionally manned fighting vehicle, while Russia unveiled new armor concepts and China mass-produced upgraded Type 99 tanks. You know who didn't slow down? Iran, which didn't just build drones, it exported them. Those drones appeared in Yemen, Gaza, Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Ukraine, transforming regional conflicts and overwhelming traditional air defenses. While America debated foreign commitments, regional players adapted. But here's where it gets even more uncomfortable. America first created distrust not among enemies, but among allies. European states wondered if Washington would still defend them. Middle Eastern monarchies asked whether U.S. security guarantees still mattered. Asian partners feared a future where America might choose isolation over intervention. The result, countries started building their own defense networks without the U.S. networks. At the center, Saudi Arabia began investing in Chinese missile factories. Turkey purchased the Russian S-400 system, challenging NATO itself. India deepened military ties with both Moscow and Washington. Playing both sides, a little strategic map shifted. And the vacuum America left behind, it didn't stay empty. China filled it in Africa. Russia filled it in the Middle East. Iran filled it in regional conflicts. And now even smaller states like North Korea and the UAE are projecting power in ways they never attempted before. America isn't disappearing, but the world is no longer waiting for it. And this is where the freefall begins, not because America lacks power, but because it has begun using that power less often, less confidently, and with less global support. In Section 3, the backlash becomes unavoidable. Imagine being the world's strongest fighter, but deciding to stop entering the ring. What happens? Other fighters train harder. They gain confidence. They test you. They poke. They provoke. That's exactly what's happening globally. The world noticed America stepping back and immediately began stress testing the limits. China flew fighter jets into Taiwan's airspace almost daily. Russian bombers edged closer to NATO territories. Iranian militias bases with rockets and drones. North Korea pushed its missile tests to new heights. Literally, every action asked the same question: is America still willing to respond? But here's the deeper layer, the one that military strategists worry about the most. For decades, the U.S. used its presence, its bases, its alliances, its forward deployments as its greatest weapon. The world didn't fear American missiles, it feared American resolve. But America first sent a subtle message: we're not getting involved. Once that idea took hold, the psychological advantage evaporated. And when psychological dominance falls, real conflict gets closer. Take the South China Sea. U.S. carriers used to sail through regularly, asserting freedom of navigation. But China used the last decade to build islands, deploy missiles, construct military runways, and surround the region with naval patrols. It's not that the U.S. can't fight. It's that its rivals now, they can win something before the U.S. even decides to respond. That hesitation creates opportunities, and the world is exploiting them. Russia invaded Ukraine because it sensed uncertainty. China expanded influence in Africa with debt diplomacy and military bases. Iran empowered proxies across the Middle East. Turkey, Azerbaijan, and others fought wars reshaping borders. And all of this happened while America argued about whether global engagement is worth the cost. The truth is brutal if America steps back. The world fills in the space with weapons, wars, alliances, and ambitions that don't favor Washington. In Section 4, the collapse becomes visible through military tech gaps America never expected to face. No superpower falls overnight. It weakens through tiny cracks, cracks that spread silently until the entire structure shakes. And right now, some of the most dangerous cracks in American power aren't political. They're technological, because while America baited America first, the rest of the world poured billions into military innovation. China now leads in hypersonic missile testing. Russia leads in electronic warfare systems capable of jamming GPS and communications. Iran leads in low-cost drone swarm production, a technology that has rewritten battlefield strategy. Meanwhile, America's biggest projects like the B-21 Raider stealth bomber, the Columbia-class submarines, and the NGAD-6 generation fighter are incredibly advanced but slow, expensive, and vulnerable to political interference. That's where America first became a double-edged sword. Cutting foreign commitments didn't free up money the way planners expected. Instead, internal conflicts stalled modernization, factories struggled with supply chain shortages, budgets froze, programs were delayed, and for the first time, American generals publicly warned Congress, we are losing the race. The U.S. Navy, once unmatched, now faces a fleet that China has made the largest in the world by sheer numbers. The U.S. Army still relies on Abrams tanks designed in the Cold War, while Russia deploys upgraded T experiments with unmanned tank platforms. The U.S. drone fleet fell behind faster developing nations. Hypersonic weapons suffered delay after delay. America is still powerful, but it is no longer unchallenged. And here's the twist that no one expected: rivals don't need to surpass the United States entirely. They just need to weaken the illusion of American invincibility. And that illusion is already broken. Section 5 exposes how allies are reacting and why their reaction is even more dangerous than America's rivals. Allies are the multiplier of American power. They make the U.S. not just a superpower, but a super network. But America first sent a chill across that network. Germany, Japan, South Korea, Australia, the UK, countries that once completely depended on American leadership, no longer feel certain the U.S. will always show up. That fear changed everything. Japan doubled its defense budget. Germany launched the $100 billion military transformation. Australia struck new deals for nuclear submarines. South Korea developed its own fighter jet. And countries across the Middle East began seeking weapons from Russia and China. This isn't normal. This is a global realignment. And it's happening at the exact moment when rivals are becoming more aggressive. Imagine America trying to deter China, Russia, or Iran, but without the full confidence of its allies. Suddenly, deterrence becomes guesswork. America's rivals become bolder. The world becomes more unstable. And here comes the hardest truth: when alliances weaken, superpowers fall. Rome fell when its provinces stopped trusting it. Britain fell when its empire drifted away. And today, America's alliance system, its greatest strategic asset, is under pressure. This is the emotional core of the crisis. The world doesn't hate America. The world is afraid America might disappear. And Section 6 reveals where this all leads, because the consequences are more explosive than anyone wants to admit. So is the United States really in freefall? Not yet. But here's the danger. Superpowers don't fall when they lose battles. They fall when they lose momentum. Momentum creates fear. Fear creates power. Power creates stability. But when momentum shifts, chaos begins. The U.S. still has the largest defense budget, still has the strongest navy, still leads in stealth, satellites, intelligence, nuclear subs, and advanced weapons. But power isn't just equipment. It's perception, it's presence, it's purpose. And that's where America first delivered the shock. It made America smaller on the global stage, less predictable, less involved, less central. And every time America pulled back, even when someone else stepped forward with drones, missiles, tanks, aircraft, and influence. The world is entering a new era, an era where great powers clash through proxies, alliances break, technology accelerates, and decisions made in distant capitals can ignite global consequences. And the question the world is asking is brutal. Is America still the anchor of global stability, or is it becoming just another player in a game it once dominated? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: if the superpower continues losing momentum, continues hesitating, continues stepping back, then yes, America's freefall may already be underway. And the world is watching every second.